Good morning, good afternoon, depending on the time that you are watching this video. I would like to thank our ambassador, Mekelle Tekwelni, for the opportunity to present about DataCite to our fantastic community in Ethiopia, focusing more on Mekelle University. Thank you once again. And to every participant, I say you are welcome. Thank you once again. My name is Bosun Obileye. I am the Regional Engagement Specialist for Africa, representing DataCite. And let's dive in. We are connecting research and advancing knowledge at DataCite. How do we achieve this? Let's look into it. DataCite. DataCite is a global community. We are not just one company, one firm, one organization somewhere that is doing its things the way it likes, but we are a global community that share a common interest to ensure that research output and resources are openly available and connected so that their reuse can advance knowledge across and between disciplines now and in the future. What this implies is that we share knowledge as a community, and we provide the platform to enable this. We are not the one that actually owns the resource, but we enable it through our infrastructure. And as a community, we make research more effective with metadata. And I hope I will talk a bit about metadata in this presentation. The metadata connects research, outputs, and resources. It ranges from gray literatures to samples, to preprints, to images, to data, and many more. We enable the creation and management of persistent identifiers called PIDs. Integrate services to improve research workflows and facilitate the discovery and reuse of research outputs and resources. So we are the enabler. We work as a community to promote open science and all kinds of research output. I use the word all, A-L-L, no restriction, to promote their visibility. And our values at DataCite, in the advanced DataCite, we have 4 core values, talking about the reliability. That is, we exist to support our community. You can depend on us and ensure our infrastructure is sustainable. So when we're saying that we are reliable, we are saying that the infrastructure that we provide is dependable. And transparency, we make transparent decisions. We engage our community openly, and we discuss. We agree together, and that's what we go along with. Trust, we seek to be a trusted partner for our members and our community, the stakeholders, by delivering services that uphold community principles. And in terms of inclusivity, we support a global community and value diverse perspective. We are not myopic in our own views alone. We accept the opinions, the contributions, and the perspectives of our community. At DataCite, we have several services. I have 4 that are put at the center, and I have written more by the site. We sustain open infrastructure services to ensure that research outputs and resources are easily findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. That's what we call FAIR. We promote FAIR principle. How do we do that? In our services, you can create DOIs from our platform that we call Fabrica. You can integrate your DOI with your repository. In terms of discovery, we have an index platform that enables discovery of your research output and resources, and reporting with advanced tools and analytics. You can use usage tracker to check the usage of your works and the visibility of the work from your institution as long as individuals researcher. We have workflows that integrate with your different tools and platforms, APIs for integrations, dashboards and reports. We have link checkers to ensure that your link is persistent, because the word persistent means ever intact. It is not changing. Then we promote reuse. We respect your license types. We encourage citations. We have our metadata, and we have linked metadata, which you will see some of them. And one thing is that DataCite metadata is domain agnostic. You can use it across different kinds of departments, thematic areas. Mention about your course type is going to fit into it. And our community, our members are those that create DOIs and they register metadata for research outputs. And this includes research organizations, consortia, government agencies, scholarly publishers, corporate research and development organizations, and galleries, libraries, archives, and museums. We have those that we call the integrators. The integrators use our services to enable registrations, reuse, enrichment, and distribution of research outputs, as well as resources. We work with metric platforms, metadata harvesters, and DataCite service providers. For instance, there are some organizations, they harvest our metadata, and they provide metrics that you can assess your performance of your research outputs. They harvest our metadata. We have those that use our platform, they integrate into their software. For instance, if you look at this space, you can integrate it to be able to create DataCite DOI once you join our membership. And those are just kind of what we're talking about. OJS do the same thing. Dataverse does the same thing. Invenio, SICAN, and many more. Policymakers are part of our communities, and this includes the NRENs, government bodies, the standard setting bodies. We work together with them because policymakers' mandate is important in every country for every researcher. And we have those that we call the collaborators. We work with organizations and stakeholders around the globe to promote the use of persistent identifiers, including open scholarly infrastructure organizations, standardizations initiatives, and project partners. Lastly, our researchers. All our services are designed to support research lifecycle. And so we interact directly with researchers, and on new projects and initiatives, we support researchers through the services, platforms, and policies of our stakeholders. And our research outputs, they are unlimited. As long as you can use or cite or mention that kind of output in your research work or use them, then you can assign DOI. For instance, software that you create while you are working on a project which you want to make to be open and be given DOI. Your codes, your computational notebook, your service. Physical objects like artifacts can be given DOI. Your instruments can be given DOI. Processes and workflows. For instance, you have peer review, standards, workflows, the data management plan, DMP, all can be given DOI. What about multimedias like videos, interactive resources, sounds, images, audio? They can be given DOI and then publish outputs. which is what this community know more about book chapters, the conference papers, data itself, data paper, data set, dissertations, journal, article, preprints, reports, text, books, journals, events, collection, and many more. They can be given DOI with rich metadata. So our strategic initiatives in line with our mission and vision, DataCite actively participate and lead various initiatives through collaboration with stakeholders in the community to make open science a reality. And the first one I'll talk about among these initiatives is the Global Access Program. Under the Global Access Program, we have 3 prongs: the Global Access Fund, called GAF, the Ambassadors Program, and that's why we have Tikweni here, and we have the partnership. The Global Access Fund provides some funding to support communities in lower represented regions. Africa is part of that. And last year we had one, and we had a couple of organizations, individuals that got that last year. We hope to still continue it this year. And then we have the partnership program, where we partners our members so that they can help themselves to grow. And then what about IGSN? IGSN, the International Generic Serial Number, is part of our initiative, in which if you need to assign IGSN to your objects, it's incorporated into DataCite DOI. The same thing with RAID, which is Research Activity Identifier. That identifier is already incorporated into DataCite DOI, so that when you are assigning it, it is DataCite DOI that it will be given to you. We have other initiatives like Make Data Count, which help further the adoption and implementation of responsible data metrics. So we are talking about harvesters. Make Data Count is like an harvesting system that will now create metrics for your different kind of research outputs. So Make Data Count initiative this year will be having its conference in the UK by September. The one for last year was held in the US. You may wish to join and go online to search for that. And then what about ROR, RAW? We support community-led registry of identifiers, such as the Research Organization Registry. Mekelle University, you are already having an identifier in RAW, but there are some organizations that do not have. So the identifier identifies your institution. We have retrieve data, where which help to discover repositories. And we contribute to development of these retrieve data initiatives, both in terms of collaboration and financial support. Lots more. Our community is growing. We have more than 1,400 organizations, more than 62 DOIs in more than 53 countries, about 53 countries. Our members, which are either direct or consortia leads, are more than 290, and we have over 3,000 repositories. We support indigenous knowledge with local context, and we follow the CARE principle for indigenous data governance. We assign the IGSN, which is embedded in our DOI, to research outputs and indigenous knowledge. This will only be done collectively. We have your role that you have to play, which is to register DOI with quality metadata to improve discovery and the use of research results and resources. Then we need to adopt and implement best practices, following proper documentation and continuous evaluation. And finally, you can then use the tools that we have, like dashboards and analytics, harvesting services, Graph API, and many more, to measure the influence of your research that you have done. We need to connect research continuously, and DataCite metadata is at the heart of this. Our metadata schema, we have the mandatory parts, and here I listed them. Don't worry, it is not sequential, because I took it from the schema itself. metadata schema. Metadata is more information about a particular resource. So I'm not dwelling more into metadata, but I'm just trying to show us what it's behind our metadata that drives the DOI. We have the identifier, the creator, the title, publisher, publication year, resource type. All of them as child and children. For instance, if you look at the identifier, you say identifier type. And then if you look at the creator, say creator name, creator's name type, the given name, the family name, the name identifier. It drills down. It's also want to know affiliation of that person, the affiliation identifier scheme. And then if you have a link, then it talks about the title, number 3. It goes down, really down. So, and then we have the part that are recommended and optional. On the table 2, if you see R on the application, this means recommended, and O stands for optional. So for instance, the subject is recommended. We want to know the subject. The contributor, they are recommended. The date is recommended, but these are important also. The language is optional. The alternate identifier, the related identifier, which are what I also break down in my left-hand side to show you how this drill down to give you more details into your research output. It will make it easier for people to find it and to be able to cite properly and then link it. The schema goes down, look at the related type, related item type. Here it's talking about what kind of item are you relating it to. Is it the audio visual, book chapters, collection, and many more like that. It comes to the relation type. It wants to know who is citing it. It's cited by who? Cite. Is it supplementary to a particular paper or a book journal? Down and down like that. Then when it comes to related item identifier, it wants to know whether you have used ARC for this device before. Archive, BIP code, DOI, EN, the handle, IGSN, so that it can be linked to our metadata schema. This is the art of the old DOI infrastructure. A lot of work goes on behind this. What you are just seeing here, that just the front, the back is so much complicated. Then the persistent identifiers. A persistent identifier is a long-lasting reference to a document, file, web page, or other object. The term persistent identifier is used in the context of digital objects that are accessible over the internet. If it is not on the internet, it is not persistent because it is offline. It cannot be seen. So it needs to be on the internet to be persistent. Typically, such an identifier is not only persistent, but actionable. You can plug it into a web browser and be taken to the identified source. That is from Wikipedia. Remember, to be persistent, it must be on the internet. So if you want to use DOI and you don't have internet, it's not going to work. You need to have your repository connected to the web with steady internet, and then you can integrate into our Fabrica system. A persistent identifier is a digital identifier that is globally unique, persistent, machine resolvable. It's globally unique, so you don't change it overnight. And as an associated metadata schema, and that's why I just showed us our metadata schema. Identifies an entity, a person, a researcher, publication, award, organization, or research output, and is frequently used to disambiguate between entities. So if I want to know Tekweni from Bosun, you have the identifier. Then when we publish in our publication must be unique and tied to our identity. That is a persistent identifier at work. The identifier is a string of numbers, letters, and or symbols assigned to the digital object. This is according to OCI Gov about the US government. DOI helps, DOIs help to improve visibility and discoverability. It enhances the accessibility of your outputs, make your research data set fair, obtain recognition for all your research output beyond journal articles. It increases citations, connect your research output and resources with a global system. It increases the impact of your institution and promote open research practices and fair principle. You can use any form of identifier, but know one thing, when you are talking about DOI, it has a driving metadata schema that increase your visibility and citations. It connects you with your research. It's not going to make your research to be isolated. So it can be linked also to your institution, and your institution can get the appropriate credit because of the proper linkage through the metadata schema. You can think about it again, just having an identifier that does not connect you with your research. How will it be? So a DOI, like DataCite DOI, has three parts. We have the DOI resolver, which is a proxy, and that is where you have the https://doi.org. Then next, we have what's called the prefix. The prefix assigned to DataCite by the International DOI Foundation. You have it there, and then you now have your suffix assigned by repository or automatically by DataCite. So which is the suffix. So a persistent identifier has all this by the left, and machine reads it and translates it to and point it to your research output. That's where it works. The machine, computers, they understand the meaning and resolve it to your research output. That's where it works. Human being cannot do that, cannot do the resolution. It is a machine that does it. And that machine is what crawls around to give you the number of counts, the number of views, the number of downloads for your work that is related to your school and that's related to you. It is the machine that does it. So there could be PIDs for individual, like the ISNI or the HOCKIT. There could be PIDs for organizations, like the RAW, and then for individual, like DOI, and those IGSN, ARC, and many more. In DataCite, we have different resource types that I mentioned to you that can use our DOI. These are just examples of some that was captured sometimes last year, October last year. If I capture what we have now, it's more than this. So this is showing you that DOI is more than just for paperwork or for just articles. It's more than that. You can increase your visibility with, assignment of DOI with proper metadata for different kinds of research outputs. So DOI for DataCite, for data sets, this is in another language in Thailand. You can see it's not just English. This is another language, but it has DOI. So you can resolve it and still get the English translations. And this one is DOI from NUS University, from Singapore. And then the DOI is there for reports. This is for reports. And then look at another DOI for thesis and dissertation. They are also kind of DOI. For software, this is a software, and then the DOI is assigned to it here. DOI for images. So you can also have images. You can see it's the figure, and you have DOI for it. Connecting research. When you do all these things, now your repository is registered with retrieve data. Your organization is with raw. All these are connected to our metadata. And you to ORCID, then if you have our DataCite DOI, it can increase your visibility because of the complex connection that we have done at the back end. And if you look at the PID graphs taken 2 years ago, a person who belongs to an organization And it's possible the person gets a funding. And when he gets the funding, he carry out the research and got some data. He analyzed the data with the software, and then he made the publications. Everything that he used must have an identifier to connect, so that researchers can see the output, funders can see what are the data sets from my money that I get to these people, and see the publications also right from their seat because of the interconnectedness. And in our platform that we call Commons, Commons is like an index platform. It's an index platform. You can find research with DataCite Commons. For instance, an organization in Africa research for some work and say there are two types of this work. We saw that that's just one citation, 103 views, and 16 downloads. So it is not just one citation. This work is being used by other people, 16 downloads. And this is a clearer view of it, of the same work. And when we look at it, we now say, okay, can we see the trail, how it was downloaded? We saw that in 2020, how it grows up to 2021. That is drilling down to see the impact of the work. And even know the month, the day that they have the highest number of views or downloads. It support recognition. And then for the organization itself, you can say, okay, let us see what are the total works that we have outside here. How many citations do we have? The works that already have citation, that has DOI, that's what this one will be showing. You may have others that do not have DOI, they'll be hidden in your repository. The ones that have DOI will be seen by the public. And then the citations that you have, the views and downloads, you can see the graphs of the impact of the work along the years. We want to encourage you, join our community. Yes, we keep on supporting the various repositories. You can see the one for data sets, the one for physical objects, for text, for images, for others, preprints. You know, they are growing. Look at what we have here. This is lovely. And if on the next page, you can see the size of data set repositories. Zenodo, Geoscience, Pangea, the archive, the Picture, they are growing. They are growing. Will your institutions join this? Will you be counted? In terms of software? We have some that call others. This space is very used. OGS follows, Database follows, InVenue, ePrint, CCAN, Opus. You see, I'm looking forward to have your own also here. And then our community will keep on growing. This one was taken in Argentina. I mean, we are in Morocco recently. I went to Zimbabwe. I also went to Uganda. I mean, just representing the organization. I'm looking forward to having something that will bring me down to your community soon. We are growing. We would love to be part of you and you be part of us. Join our various programs that we have. We have DataCite Connect. One is coming up in Europe during the Pit Fest. And then another one will come up in Zambia in the end of October. So I hope to see somebody there. Also, we have annual meetings, membership training program, open hours every month. We have webinars, conferences, and events. We look forward to having you there. Our community is governed and driven by the Community Engagement Steering Group, CESG. We have the Services and Technology Steering Group, STSG. We have the Regional Expert Groups and the Metadata Working Groups. You need to be part of this community. We love you and thank you. Membership. There are different kinds of membership. I'll talk about two: the direct members and the consortium member. For institutions, because membership is like you are joining an organization or an association. For instance, we have AFLIA in Africa, Africa and the Library Association. You pay your annual subscription. The same thing with DataCite, because we're a membership organization, you pay your subscription. If you can't afford it, then you come to what is called the consortium, in which the consortium pay the membership fee, which is like paying as a parent, they now have the children, which will not just pay for being a consortium organization, which is not that much, along with the cost of DOI. So that is it. You can submit a member inquiry or email us directly. You can visit datacite.org/membership-inquiry or send an email to info@datacite.org. I hope to hear from you. Once again, I show you how you can reach out to us. If you can reach out to us, we would love to hear from you. Thank you. Now, because I'm making record, I would suggest that you send your questions through Tekueni, and I will respond to them. I can respond by email, or if you want it to be video, it will be fine. I can actually make it by email and respond back. Thank you, everyone. I look forward to hearing more from you. Thank you. Thank you.